Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today our topic is IAS 38 intangible asset. Okay, first of all, what do you mean by intangible asset? It is defined as a identifiable non-monetary asset without any physical substance. Okay, this is the definition of intangible asset. So it is defined as identifiable non-monetary asset without any physical substance. What is the difference between tangible asset and intangible asset? Tangible asset, they can be seen, touched and felt. Okay, so intangible asset, they cannot be seen, touched and felt. Okay, this is the in short meaning of tangible and intangible asset. So intangible asset comes under IAS 38 and it defines intangible asset as an identifiable non-monetary asset without any physical substance. Okay, this identifiable. Okay, when it is said that an intangible asset is identifiable, when it is separable or when it arises from contractual or legal rights. So in this case we say that it is identifiable when an intangible asset is separable or it arises from an contractual or legal right, then we will say that an intangible asset is identifiable. Okay, examples of intangible asset. What all things will be there? Patent, then license, then what all things are there? Copyright, then franchises. So these all things will be included in under intangible asset. Next is recognition criteria. What is the recognition criteria? So an entity should recognize intangible asset when these following criteria are met. First criteria is asset is identifiable, then second criteria is controlled by the entity, third criteria is asset will generate future economic benefit, next is cost can be reliably measured. Okay, so this is the recognition criteria. If these criteria are met, then it can be classified as an intangible asset. Otherwise, if this criteria is not met, what you should do? You should recognize as an expense and it should be charged to statement of profit and loss. Okay, if these criteria are not met, this has to be done. It should be recognized as an expense in under SOPL. Okay, and if it is met, then classify it as an intangible asset. Okay, in case of internally generated goodwill, will this be recognized as an intangible asset or not? Can it be recognized as an intangible asset, internally generated goodwill? If the cost can be reliably measured and it is separable, in that case it can be recognized as an intangible asset. But most of the cases, cost of that internally generated goodwill cannot be reliably measured and it is not separable. Okay, in that case it will be recognized as an expense under SOPL, statement of profit and loss. Okay, next topic is research and development. Okay, so first research. So the cost associated with research, will it be capitalized or expensed? Okay, the cost associated with research, it will be expensed. It will not be capitalized, it will be expensed. Okay, all the costs associated with the research will be expensed. Okay, it cannot be capitalized. Next, development. The cost associated with development, will it be capitalized? It will be capitalized. But it should meet the following criteria. So what are the criteria? Okay, pirate. So this is a short form, easily you can remember. When it comes to the development cost can only be capitalized when the criteria is met. The criteria is pirate. P stands for probable economic benefit, and I stands for intention to sell. R stands for reliable cost measurement. A stands for adequate resource availability. T stands for technical feasibility. E stands for expected to be profitable. Okay, so these are the criteria which has to be met for capitalizing the development cost. There should be probable economic benefit, then intention to sell, then reliable cost measurement, adequate resource availability, technical feasibility, expected to be profitable. These criteria should be met. Development cost can be capitalized. Otherwise, it will be expensed in the statement of profit and loss. Then next is initial measurement. So intangible asset, it is initially recognized at its cost. Recognized initially at its cost. Then subsequent measurement, under subsequent measurement there will be two model. First model is cost model, second model is revaluation model. So if you choose the cost model, then you have to take the carrying amount. Carrying amount is equal to cost minus, here depreciation or amortization will come. Depreciation will be for tangible asset and amortization will be for intangible asset. So here amortization will come. Okay, so if you are choosing the cost model, you should take the carrying amount and you should reduce the amortization from the cost. If you are choosing the revaluation model, then first you have to identify the carrying amount, that is cost minus amortization. Then after that you should revalue the asset. So, and revaluation gain, if there is any gain, that is revaluation surplus, should be shown as under other comprehensive income, and if it is a loss, then it should be shown under statement of profit and loss. This is a subsequent measurement. There is two model, cost model or revaluation model. If you are choosing cost model, then carrying amount, there is no revaluation, there is no revaluation is there, so you should just reduce the amortization from the cost. If you are choosing the revaluation model, then you have to firstly find the carrying amount, then after that you have to revalue the amount. If there is any gain, it should be recognized under the OCI, and if there is any loss, it should be recognized under SOPL. Okay, and what is amortization? Writing off the value of the asset. Amortization is mainly done for intangible asset having finite useful life. Okay, if an intangible asset have a finite useful life, let's say like 25 years of useful life. So in this case only the intangible asset can be amortized. Okay, if an intangible asset have indefinite useful life, then it should not be amortized. Instead, it will be subject to impairment review. So it will be subject to impairment review. Therefore, the impairment should be reduced from the cost. Okay, in that case, if an intangible asset is having an indefinite useful life, it should not be amortized. It should be subject to impairment review, and that impairment, this is a loss, and this loss should be reduced from this cost. Okay, so this is all about IAS 38 intangible asset. So let's recap. Intangible asset is defined as an identifiable non-monetary asset without any physical substance. This is a definition, and in the question you should, if there is any question related to IAS 38, then you should write this definition itself. Okay, In short, intangible assets are the assets which cannot be seen, touched and felt. Okay, then it can be said identifiable only when it is separable or it is arising from the contractual or legal rights. Only at that time it can be said like it is identifiable. Then examples are patent, license, copyright, franchise, then goodwill. These are the examples. Recognition criteria. Intangible assets should be recognized when these criteria are met. When the asset is identifiable, when it is controlled by the entity, when the asset generates future economic benefit, cost can be reliably measured. These are the criteria. If this criteria is not met, then it will be shown as an expense under the statement of profit and loss. If these criteria are met, then it will be shown as an intangible asset. Then next is internally generated goodwill. It is an asset which does not have any, which cannot be seen, touched and felt. But if the cost can be reliably measured and it is separable, then it can be recognized as an intangible asset. Otherwise, it will be recognized as an expense under the statement of profit and loss. The next is research and development. This research will be, the cost associated with research will be expensed under SOPL, and the cost associated with development will be capitalized if they meet the criteria. Which criteria? Pi rate criteria. Under pi rate criteria, what is P? P is a probable economic benefit, I is the intention to sell, R is a reliable cost measurement, A is adequate resource availability, T technical feasibility, E expected to be profitable. If these criteria are met, then only it can be classified. Then initial measurement. Initially, intangible assets are recognized at its cost. Subsequently, there are two models, cost model or revaluation model. If you are choosing cost model, then carrying amount will be cost minus amortization is for the intangible assets with finite useful life. Revaluation model, carrying amount we have to identify, then revalue the asset. If there is any gain, then it should be shown under OCI. If there is any loss, then it should be shown under statement of profit and loss. Then amortization means writing off the value of an asset. Then intangible asset having a finite useful life can only be amortized. Intangible asset with an indefinite useful life, it should be impaired, as it is subjected to impairment review, that is impairment loss must be reduced from the cost. Okay, I hope everyone understood this topic, and if you have any doubts, then please comment below. If you liked my video, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Stay tuned for my next video. Bye bye.